And we are back after a long 3-day weekend. It is Tuesday, the 28th day of May, 2024. I'm Dave Kuntz. Hope you had a good Memorial Day weekend. Hope you got to do whatever it was that you wanted to do, and I hope you set aside the necessary time yesterday for the real reason of Memorial Day. Now we are back. It is cloudy. It is kind of mild. It's 57 degrees. A cold front is parked right off the coast, and it's going to come barreling in later on today. In fact, we're going to be in for some very unsettled weather. No real rain expected, but quite a bit of wind. May is going to go out like a lion, and June's going to come in like a lamb. It looks like we're going to see quite a bit of cloud cover today. It's going to be breezy today, tonight. Quite a bit breezy on Wednesday, a lot cooler Wednesday. We turn things around Thursday, but for the next 3 days, 2.5 days anyway, a little on the unsettled side. We'll give you those weather details coming up. We'll have the latest news in sports. The Mariners are back home after a 10-game road trip. They took on their nemesis, the Astros, yesterday at T-Mobile Park, and they beat them. Highlights of that, plus Scott Service's reaction to a nice victory. It's always nice to beat the Astros. And how all the local prep spring sports folks did, team-wise and individual-wise. Prep sports is over. They had the championship weekend over the weekend and all of the spring sports. We'll let you know how the local teams did. And in the back half of the program, we're going to revisit my interview with Chris Clarkey, Associate Head Coach of the Wenatchee Wild, talking all things off-season with the Wenatchee Wild. It's always good to see Clarkey. The main topic of conversation, billet families. They need homes for the kids who'll be coming into town late summer to strap on the skates and be a part of the Wenatchee Wild hockey family. Chris Clark in the back half of the program. It's 57 degrees, it's overcast, and here we go. With our tour around the Wenatchee Valley, always the Wenatchee Heights camera chimes in. The river is up there, it's high, it's cold, it's running fast, and it's a little on the dirty side. It's everything that we expect from the Columbia River this time of the year as the last of the snow in the high elevation, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 feet, continues to melt and feed into the area streams and ergo into the rivers. From our Wenatchee Heights camera, and you can see the clouds, and those clouds that you see aren't going to be going anywhere today as this rather interesting cold front slides into the area, especially this afternoon. Could even see a little bit of rain. It's really not the forecast. Let's head on up to Lake Chelan. I don't know how busy the lake was this weekend. Weather wasn't quite cooperative, but that's from our Lower Butte camera. Good morning to Chelan, the Three Fingers, the Marina, Campbell's. You can see pretty much all of the hamlet, the town of Chelan, if you will, from our Lower Butte camera. We have two cameras on the Chelan Butte. One's at the very top, and that one's a little bit lower and a little bit closer to the big city. Let's head on over to Cougar Ridge and take a look at the Easy Street roundabout. It looks something like that. Is everybody used to the roundabout now? I think we are. You pick a lane, you stick in it. You know, it's not that hard. A few practice runs, and you're good to go from our Cougar Ridge camera looking out into the old station area from into the Easy Street roundabout, and finally up to Billy Goat, which I don't think has a roundabout. Have it tilted up just a little bit. Looks like they have a few more sun breaks up north of us. That's Pateras, of course, down there. You can see most of Brewster. Can't see Bridgeport. It's tucked behind the ridge there, but a beautiful view from Billy Goat, high atop the Alta Lake State Park and golf course. Well, after a high of 66 on Sunday and 75 yesterday, things are going to start cooling down a little bit. From the National Weather Service, 72. Our forecast high today, our normal high is 74. We'll see clouds as the afternoon progresses. The wind will be picking up, and it will stay with us overnight tonight with 45 for the overnight low. Now we go back to sunshine Wednesday, but it's going to be even windier tomorrow than today, and we're only going to get to 64. We'll be 10 degrees below normal. It's going to be very windy at times on Wednesday. Winds eventually die down by sunrise Thursday morning, but you see, look at the overnight low Wednesday night, 42. That's cool. Our normal overnight low is about 52. So both the afternoon highs and the overnight lows are going to be below normal. We turn the page a little bit on Thursday, still below normal, but we're done with the wind anyway, with a high near 70. Lower 70s on Friday for opening day of the Apple Sox baseball season. Looks like a beautiful day to be at the ballpark. Not bad Saturday, partly sunny and 71 to wrap up the upcoming weekend. And by the way, we welcome June on Saturday with highs in the lower 70s under partly sunny skies. It still feels more like early May than late May as far as temperatures are concerned. Again, the big story this afternoon and all day Wednesday, wind and a lot of it. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll let you know what's making news around North Central Washington. You're watching the Tuesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
The Lake Chelan Rotary Club invites you to experience Cycle Chelan, held each year on the third Saturday in June. Pick your thrill from 3 rides: the Metric Century Challenge, Cycle Divino, or the Lake Loop. All profits from Cycle Chelan are used to support student scholarships and other charitable activities of the Lake Chelan Rotary Club. Cycle Chelan, a route for every rider. Pick your thrill today.
The family at the Epladolin want to help your loved one feel at ease in their new home environment. Epladolin offers beautiful 1-bedroom and studio apartments. Residents enjoy 3 delicious home-style meals a day, laundry service, housekeeping service, and encouragement to make themselves cozy in their new home. Epladolin welcomes your family to come and visit their family. Epladolin, independent and assisted living. They make the complicated easy for you. Call today for a tour.
Hey, hon, would you run this around to the wash rack?
Oh, okay.
Hey, hon, what happened?
They shrunk the truck.
The all-new mid-size Canyon is now available at Sangster Motors.
The Surf and Slide Water Park is open from Memorial Day through Labor Day. Surf and Slide is located in the heart of Central Washington in Moses Lake with activities for all ages and abilities. Check out Surf and Slide's Flow Rider Surfing Simulator, Lazy River, 2 200-foot water slides, tube slides, and diving boards. Our children's area includes a Treasure Island water structure, splash pad, and baby octopus slide. For season passes, visit us online or find Surf and Slide on Facebook.
Clouds are here. They're going to be here pretty much all day. We're at 57. We'll be lower 70s today with some clouds and some afternoon winds. Sunshine is back tomorrow, Wednesday, but considerably cooler and very windy before we calm down a little bit come Thursday. It's 8 minutes after the hour, and then there were three finalists. 2 of them current law enforcement officers and 1 former law enforcement officer. One of these 3 is going to be the next police chief of the city of Wenatchee. Police Captains Brian Chance and Edgar Reinfeld are the 2 local applicants for the job. Both are currently among the department's administrative commanders. The 3rd candidate is Doug Shoemaker, who resigned in March as police chief of Denton, Texas. He previously led departments in Grand Junction, Colorado, and Jefferson City, Missouri. The city has been searching for a successor to outgoing Chief Steve Crown. He retires next month. There'll be a public meet and greet on June 3rd at City Hall. Citizens can meet and talk with all 3 applicants. The public will also be able to give feedback on their preferred candidate on a comment card or by email. The Columbia River Drug Task Force is seeking a special designation from the federal government that would grant it more resources to seek and arrest suspected drug criminals. The multi-agency police team wants to petition the U.S. Office of National Drug Control Policy to name Chelan County a high-intensity drug trafficking area. Task Force Coordinator Ryan Moody with the Chelan County Sheriff's Office says if it's approved, the designation would come with new funding, training, and assistance from federal law enforcement. Grant County has already been a high-intensity drug trafficking area since 2020. The task force includes agents from all 4 Wenatchee Valley Police and Sheriff's agencies, as well as the Department of Corrections. The city of Leavenworth and various partners started a campaign this year to help keep bears out of your garbage and compost. Bears are hungry and they'll get into that stuff, but the new bear-resistant containers are only as efficient as the humans who use them. A week ago Sunday, the city of Leavenworth had to close part of its trail system around the Wenatchee River Institute for about 24 hours after a bear got into a food composting container, ate its fill, and then went to sleep in a nearby tree. The container had been accidentally left unlatched, and that gave the bear, free access to all the food it wanted. The Wenatchee River Institute notified the city, the Department of Fish and Wildlife as well. The bear incursion was noticed. So far, so good. The bear seems to have moved on. On Wednesday, U.S. Senator Patty Murray announced that $75 million in funding would be dedicated to Washington State fish passage and habitat projects, a portion of which will go to Chelan County. The funding comes from the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law and Inflation Reduction Act. It's dedicated to projects under the Restoring Fish Passage through the Barrier Removal Grants Program. The Chelan County Wenatchee Basin Fish Barrier Removal Project is set to receive $1.5 million of the total awarded funding. The project will replace culverts and increasing habitat for endangered salmon through the addition of wood complexes and reconnecting side channels. The Chelan-Douglas Regional Port Authority has been awarded the 2024 Job Creator Award by the Washington Public Ports Association. The idea, their work on the Microsoft Data Center projects got their attention. The port's successful recruitment of the data centers is estimated to bring in approximately $2.4 billion in investment for each county. The center in each county will have 6 buildings, roughly 75 jobs will be created per building. Those centers are now the largest single private investment of each county to date. The port says the investments will generate significant revenues that can then be reinvested into Chelan and Douglas counties. And if you need historical data on almost any Wenatchee sports team over the last decades or so, your guy to go to is our friend Bruce Bennett. He's 81 years old. Bruce has become known as the resident stats collector for North Central Washington teams, including Wenatchee High School, Wenatchee Valley College, and the Apple Sox, combining scores that go back to the earliest days of local athletics. He has an email newsletter. It's called the Bruce Report, and it catches readers up on the latest wins and losses. Our own Grant Olson talked with Bruce Bennett about how he became the stat guy.
That was a name given to me by Greg Franz. And Greg Franz, several years ago, statatorian. And so I have kind of used that. Well, that's pretty good because it kind of covers things. Well, I've actually probably started, I don't know, 6th, 7th grade, someplace in there, a little tabletop game called All-Star Baseball. And I used to play whole games and keep scoring on that thing. So that's probably where it got started, is all the way back about then. And then it just went on from there. Every place I've gone, I've been scorekeeper, or I've just accumulated and kept stats for the local school.
So how long have you been doing it in Wenatchee then?
This is 19th or 20th year. Yeah.
So tell folks how you get your information. It's more than just looking at a newspaper. You sometimes have to travel. You had to stay overnight maybe in place, went to a libraries, that kind of thing.
Well, yes. For the actual events, I didn't have to travel. But I've traveled, basically I got a lot of the stuff out of the University of Washington Library, microfilm of Walla Walla, Tri-City, Yakima, and Columbia Herald papers, what I couldn't get here. I spent hours and hours on several trips over the UW Library. And I spent a lot of hours down here, several days worth of hours here. So that's where, and then the internet, you pick it up off of that. But now it's practically all the internet. But for the history, to dig back, you had to go back through these newspapers and the annuals up at the school.
So how did the Bruce Report come about?
I was accumulating all this stuff, and I go, there may be interest in other people's parts. So that's why I just started sending it out. And I started out, I basically had football and basketball for the high school, and I had basketball for the college. And then it evolved in there, so I started doing every sport for the college, every sport for the high school, and did it every week for 17 weeks. I sent that thing, 17 years, I'm sorry, I sent that thing out, yeah.
Are you still doing it?
No.
We do get a couple of things from you a year, but not as much as we used to.
No, I just sent, I'll send another one out this week. Just kind of the weekly one finally got, when you're in the business, you got deadlines. And the deadlines, just every single week having to hit that thing, it just got a little bit more than I could bear. So I just cut off the weekly ones. But I do enjoy getting out some special stuff once in a while when I get a bunch of stuff put together, send it out, and I get good responses back from that.
Why do you love it? Is it because you want things to be official, that you want things to be the way they should be, or is it just the love of numbers?
Well, it's probably both. Yeah, it's nice to have some history there because in most cases there's none. I basically am the official statistician for the Big Nine. Nobody does it, and I'm surprised.
So do you ever think you'll stop completely?
Well, as long as I'm living here and mentally, hopefully, and physically able, I'll probably do it. If we move, that may be the end of it.
And that's what's making news on this Tuesday. Whatever happened over the weekend, we'll have for you tonight with the news at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock on TV. 5, 6, and 10 is our airtime. If you watch your news on TV, if you watch your news on your smart TV, in other words, whenever you want to, and you log on and you're way to go, you can watch the news right around 5 o'clock. It'll be on our homepage, ncwlife.com, our YouTube page, our Facebook page. There'll be links on our Twitter, our X, or whatever you want to call it, Instagram. We got the whole thing. If you haven't gotten our app yet, that's how you go about doing it. Pick up your phone and click away. And don't forget, if there's something out there that warrants our attention, send us an email, news@ncwlife.com. No team championships over the weekend in the state spring sports wrap-up, but some individual champions. Sports is next. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Let's go! Put your hands together for the world-famous Harlem Globetrotters. This isn't just basketball, people. This is where what just happened happens all the time. Don't miss the Harlem Globetrotters 2024 World Tour presented by Jersey Mike Subs at Town Toyota Center on June 16th. Go to harlemglobetrotters.com for tickets.
Now there are even more reasons to meet at the Pybus Market. Outdoor dining and tastings, the fabulous Farmers Market, Saturday artisans on the concourse, and your favorites all week long. No matter the reason, it's always time to meet at the Pybus Market. Pybus Market, where community meets.
At Confluence Health, our mission is clear: to provide exceptional care for our community. We believe in healthcare that's personal and local because we're just like you, members of this great community.
We are Confluence.
Local care by and for our community.
Local care by and for our community.
Local care by and for our community.
We are Confluence.
Hi folks, welcome to Save Mart. How can we help you today?
We're looking for a recliner.
Okay, right this way. Go ahead and move this chase on the other side. You can lift this up.
Great, I want that one. I like that one.
That's a great choice.
And I want this one as well.
Okay.
And I definitely want this one.
Ooh. You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
18 minutes after the hour, the Seattle Mariners used a big first inning against Framber Valdez, and they held on. 3-2 the final. Seattle over the Astros last night. Bryce Miller allowing just 2 runs over 6 innings. He wins his first game since April 17th.
Manny was down and made himself quite visible. Good job. Here's 1-0. Base hit through the hole. 2-0 Mariners. Ty France staying high. Ty was 8 for 33, 2 homers, 6 RBI on the trip.
Position coming into today.
There you go.
So it's only getting better now.
Haney, base hit up the middle. Garver getting waved on. Here he comes. There'll be no throw. The Mariners have a 3-0 lead here in the first. Mitch Haniger with an arm.
So here's Jose Abreu, first and third, 1 out. And Abreu lines one into right center field. That is going to be down for a base hit. The Astros on the board. An RBI for Abreu. It's now a 3-1 game. Jose Abreu in his first game with the Astros since April delivers with an RBI base hit.
How about you, Jose Abreu? 2 games in AAA, didn't get a hit. Here, with runners at the corners, takes a high fastball and hits it firm the other way. 102.3 off the bat.
Mooney ready. Here comes a 2-2 pitch to Singleton. The pitch. He got him. Ball game over. Mariners win it 3-2. They take the opener against the Houston Astros and pick up a full game on the third-place Stros. The Mariners go to 29-26. The Astros 24-30. Now 4.5 game separation between these two teams.
Manager Scott Service said it was good to be home after going 4-6 on their 10-game road trip.
I thought offensively tonight we did some really good things early in the game.
all over Framber Valdez early, and that's what you have to do against him. Bryce got off to a good start. Again, he's been really good in this ballpark. For whatever reason, he's a ton of confidence. It is a pitcher's ballpark. There's no question about it. You can get away with a few more things here, and I was just happy he get through the 6th inning tonight. And our bullpen, 9 up, 9 down. Those guys, some of those guys in that bullpen have been struggling a little bit, so nice to get them in there in a clean inning, and they were very effective, very efficient. They went right after him tonight against an Astros team that has a really good offense. So good way to start the homestand, and just excited to see like all facets clicking in tonight. A lot of good stuff, a lot of good at-bats, cut down the strikeouts here the last couple of days, so hopefully we need that to continue, for the rest of the homestand. So appreciate the people coming out tonight, and hopefully they'll be out here the rest of the homestand. Our guys need it.
Game 2 of the 4-game series is tonight at 6:40. Louis Castile will take on Hunter Brown. All right, to the state championships, it all came to an end. Over the weekend, your state soccer champions in 4A, Mount Si, 3A, Lake Washington, 2A, Franklin Pierce, 1A, Overlake, and 1B, 2B, Upper Valley Academy. As far as Cascade is concerned, they lost in the state semifinals to Overlake 3-1, but they took 3rd place. Cascade did by beating Vashon Island 3-2. Next up, we're going to talk about state baseball. Elmira Cooley Heartline played for the state championship. They beat Nacelle on Friday. The final was 11-1, but on Saturday in the championship game, DeSales beat Elmira Cooley Heartline 6-0, so Elmira Cooley Heartline takes home 2nd place in the state 1B baseball champions. Your state, that's the state soccer champions, which I think we already did. Your state baseball champions, Richland ran the table, undefeated. That doesn't happen too often. West Seattle wins the 3A state championship. Columbia River the 2A state baseball championship. Overlake Bear Creek win the 1A. Tri-Cities Prep the 2B. DeSales the 1B. The state softball championships, Eastmont, they lost to Jackson in the opening round 5-1. That put them in the losers bracket, but then they beat Glacier Peak 3-2. They beat North Creek 7-4, but then Skyview ended their season 9-7. So Eastmont goes home without a trophy. Moses Lake got swept in their first 2 games. They lost to Emerald Ridge 17-0, and then Puyallup took care of Moses Lake 22-7. In the 2A state softball championships, it was 2 and done for the Ephrata Tigers. They lost in the opening round at Tumwater 14-0, and then Enumclaw ended their season by beating Ephrata 10-7. In the 2B state championships, Lake Roosevelt beat Liberty 3-0, and then they lost to Kittitas 19-0. Then they lost to Pell Willapa Valley 18-3. So Lake Roosevelt's season came to an end with a couple of losses. Your state softball champions, Jackson, the team that beat Eastmont in round 1, won their 2nd straight state championship. Auburn Riverside takes the 3A championship. Cedro Woolley the 2A. 1A goes to Royal, 2B to Adna, and 1B to DeSales. Individual champions, we have a few. Congratulations to Max Meadows of Wenatchee, the boys state champion in the 800 in the 4A, and Hayden Robertson, the 2A, also won the boys 800 run. In the 110-meter hurdles, it was Caden Miller of Cashmere taking home the state championship. And congratulations to Court Gebbers. He won both the boys discus and the boys shot put at the state championships over the weekend. Gazelle Cisneros of Pateras won the girls 100-meter dash. The girls javelin goes to Pepper Bozel of Brewster. She's a state champion. And congratulations to the Brewster girls. They won both the 4x100-meter relay and the 4x200-meter relay. The team of Gamble, Mitchell, Smith, and Tolling. Congratulations to all of those individual state champions. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. At 24 minutes after the hour, happy National Hamburger Day. Doesn't that look pretty good? Of course, the hamburger is German in origin. It was brought over basically by German sailors who brought it with them on the ships, and then German immigrants brought the hamburger steak to the United States. But the actual guy who gets the credit for inventing the hamburger as we know it is Walter Anderson of Wichita, Kansas. He was a fry cook in 1916. The problem with hamburgers before 1916 is you would take a hamburger patty, you put it between 2 pieces of bread. Well, after about 3 bites, it just becomes this gloppy mess. And Walter Anderson came up with the idea, let's find a good dense bun, something round that matches the shape of the hamburger, or close enough to it, but it's got to be dense enough so it holds everything together regardless of how juicy the hamburger is. The hamburger was born. White Castle picked up on the idea. White Castle is the oldest burger chain in the United States, so congratulations to Walter Anderson. He gets the credit. Hamburgers account for almost half of all the sandwiches sold. Hamburgers are technically sandwiches. Americans consume over 50 billion hamburgers a year. McDonald's sells 75 hamburgers a second. That comes out to 270,000 hamburgers every hour. That is impressive. What's the best hamburger in town? Is it a local joint? Is it a fast food joint? Is it a chain? I've always considered the best hamburger in the Wenatchee Valley is the one you make yourself. You can make it any way you want to. You can put any kind of condiments you want on it. You can cook it to the necessary doneness that you want. If you like a little red in there, you can do that. There are some good hamburger joints in this town, no doubt about it, but the ones you make yourself, quite frankly, are the best. Enjoy the hamburger. By the way, the cheese on the hamburger, that's us. America did that. We're number one, baby, 26 minutes after the hour. Today in history on this date in 1830, 194 years ago today, we had all of these treaties with all of the Native Americans in the American Southeast, and then all the landowners and the white people in Georgia and elsewhere said, hey, this is really nice land that we just signed away. We have these binding treaties with all the Native American tribes, but we want the land, and so they just said, to hell with the treaty, I don't care, you're out of here. Andrew Jackson signs the Indian Removal Act. So the Native Americans living in the areas that you see there were told to take a hike. About 60,000 members of the Cherokee, the Creek, the Seminole, the Chickasaw, and the Choctaw nations were forcibly removed from their ancestral homes, and they all got sent out to Indian Territory out there in Oklahoma. The Trail of Tears, 60,000 left, about 8,000 died on the way from starvation and disease, or whatever the Trail of Tears began, because we want our property back. Went all the way to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said, sorry, you know, that happens. 90 years ago today in Ontario, a small town in Ontario, Callander, Ontario, the Dion quintuplets are born. 5 of them, Yvonne, Annette, Cecil, Emily, and Marie, becoming the first quintuplets to survive infancy. And as soon as it became obvious that they were going to survive infancy, the Ontario government swooped in and just took them. They saw that, hey, there's money to be had, so here comes the exploitation of the Dion quintuplets. First of all, they had to go to court and find that the Dion's parents were unfit to raise them, even though they had 5 other kids. They didn't come in and take the 5 other kids. They just took the 5 quintuplets, and they were exploited beyond belief. It's a terribly sad story. Just so the government of Ontario and the neighboring businesses in Callander, Ontario, can make money off the Dion quintuplets. Only 2 of them are still alive, Annette and Cecil. By the way, in the late 1990s, the Ontario government wrote them a big fat check. The exploitation was, there's a book, you should read it, came out about 5-6 years ago. Not a pleasant read, but it's a true read. Happy 87th birthday to Volkswagen. Yeah, the German automobile manufacturer is founded 87 years ago today, May 28, 1937. For a very long period of time, it was the biggest automobile seller and manufacturer in the world. Volkswagen, not as big here in the United States as it is in Europe, and in Asia, Volkswagen is very big. It's still very big. Volkswagen, 87 years old. I had a 69 Volkswagen Bug many, many years ago. 47 years ago today in Southgate, Kentucky, which was just across the Ohio River from Cincinnati. Big popular nightclub. Brought in all the best entertainers from Los Angeles, Las Vegas, and New York. A fire broke out. The place was packed. There were, according to the fire code, they couldn't allow any more than 1,500 people inside the Beverly Hills Supper Club. That night on Memorial Day weekend, there were 3,000 people inside the Southgate Beverly Hills Supper Club. It caught on fire. It was overcrowded. There were not enough exits. There was faulty wiring. There was no sprinkler system, no fire alarms. A lot of people couldn't find the emergency exits because you had to go through like 9 doors. In the end, 165 people died when a fire broke out at the Beverly Hills Supper Club just across the Ohio River from Cincinnati on this date in 1977. And 37 years ago today, this took some chutzpah. Matthias Rust, 18 years old. Well, here's the video, and I'll tell you what happened. He was 18 years old. He flies a small little airplane, all the way from Helsinki, Finland, and he lands it in Red Square, right in the heart of Moscow. Now, this takes some serious guts. He didn't tell anybody what he was doing. Of course, the most amazing thing is that he evaded the air defenses in the Soviet Union. By this little bitty plane, he just flew below all the radar and that they had. The people in Moscow were just enthralled by this kid for pulling it off. The authorities and the Soviet Union not so pleased. He was arrested and detained. He was eventually released a year later. He was charged with, I don't know what he was charged with. There's Mikhail Gorbachev saying, "Nice job, gentlemen, way to take care of that guy." These people, of course, were all fired. But at least it wasn't Stalin. They fired and then disappeared. Matthias Rust flies an airplane into Red Square. I remember that. That was on this date in 1987. Birthdays. One heavenly birthday, Jim Thorpe, the gold medalist in both the pentathlon and the decathlon at the 1912 Stockholm Olympics. He played college football, professional baseball, basketball, had his medals taken away from him, and then returned. 30-some-odd years after he died, Jim Thorpe, voted the greatest athlete in the first half of the 20th century. He was born in the state in 1888. Jerry West, the logo, Mr. Clutch, Hall of Fame, of course, with the Los Angeles Lakers. He's 86 years old today. That's his silhouette on the NBA logo. And John Fogerty, the great John Fogerty, is 79 years old. A couple of years ago, he got back all the rights to his CCR songs that he signed away. Happy 79th birthday to John Fogerty. Special thanks to our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. You're not going to need the air conditioning this week, but maybe next week. Have Alpine Air. Take a look-see at it. Special thanks to our sponsor, Pool to Spa Services. You want a pool? You want a spa? Give them a call. They know what they're doing. Trust me on that. Pool to Spa Services on Worthing. And special thanks to our friends at Prestige Senior Living at Colonial Vista in Wenatchee and East Wenatchee. Mike McKnight has got an opinion. Then we visit with Chris Clark, the associate head coach of the Wenatchee Wild. You're watching the Tuesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Thanks to Les Schwab Tires, I'm a confident backseat driver, but Mom's a little stressed about spending. Remember, deep breaths and watch your speed. Even though we're watching our wallets, Les Schwab is still watching out for our safety. So it's right here.
Roll into summer. Save up to $200 instantly on a wide selection of tires and wheels. Les Schwab Tires, doing the right thing since 1952.
I think we already have the legendary pizza, really, and I hope it just continues.
We have a free pizza slip. We get free pizzas, and if something happened to Abby's, we wouldn't have free pizza anymore. Think about that, huh?
No.
Yeah.
Every day is Taco Tuesday at Abby's. Our Taco Especial is on sale 7 days a week, loaded with beef or chicken, onions, olives, tomatoes, cheddar cheese, and lettuce. It's a pizza that you won't forget. Dine in or order online for takeout or delivery right to your door.
The Lake Chelan Chamber of Commerce presents Wonders of Wooden Avenue.
Welcome to the newest and funnest fashion boutique on Wooden, featuring mountain chic clothing and men's footwear from UGG, Brixton, Sorel, and Free People. Walk on into the Tiffany Blue Building on the second block of Wooden and check it out.
It is nearly impossible to describe what you'll find in Lush Life. It's an eclectic collection of items from around the world. See it for yourself at the corner of Wooden and Emerson.
Wonders of Wooden Avenue, North Central Washington's premier shopping district. The family at the Epladolin want to help your loved one feel at ease in their new home environment. Epladolin offers beautiful one-bedroom and studio apartments. Residents enjoy 3 delicious home-style meals a day, laundry service, housekeeping service, and encouragement to make themselves cozy in their new home. Epladolin welcomes your family to come and visit their family. Epladolin, independent and assisted living. They make the complicated easy for you. Call today for a tour.
Everybody is entitled to my opinion now. I recently saw an ad for a frozen pizza company claiming their product was New York style. No, there's no such thing as frozen New York style pizza or any kind of frozen pizza for that matter. Look, you can freeze shrimp and it's still shrimp. When it thaws, it's still shrimp, as are green beans, tater tots, or a chicken pot pie. But freezing pizza and then adding insult to injury and calling it New York style, oh gosh, may God forgive them for their blasphemy. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Welcome back to the program. Chris Clark, Associate Head Coach of the Wenatchee Wild, has an open invitation to visit this program whenever he wants to. He actually took me up on it, because when I said anytime you want to do the show, you can come do the show, Clark, yeah, it was just be nice. I didn't mean it.
Oh, I'm sorry, I took it literally, but thank you for having me nonetheless.
Chris Clark, everybody, you look terrible. What are you doing to yourself,
I look
man?
the same as I did when you saw me 6 months ago.
How you do? WHA, this was a good year. People go, hey, you know, we got eliminated the first round of the playoffs, but gosh darn it, we have a quality hockey. I mean, quality hockey here in the Valley now. Top-notch stuff.
Honestly, it was a blast. And to think that it happened in June, to put a WHL team together in June to play this September, I can't speak enough about our staff, from Bliss through the front office to the coaches to the scouts to the trainers to everybody involved with our organization. It was a great year, honestly.
And the owners.
And yeah, of course, Mr. White and Mrs. White, David and Lisa. It took a full team effort to just make that happen. And then to get home ice in the first round of the playoffs, obviously we always want to play as long as you can, but I got to say it was a complete team effort, and it was a great to be a part of.
I went to the second home game of the year just to see, because, you know, in the North American Hockey League and the British Columbia Hockey League, I said, okay, well, I've heard this is the next step up. I wasn't really familiar with the WHA, and I went to either the second or third home game of the year, and, you know, it didn't take 5 minutes before you realized this is another level. Speed, size, agility, skill, everything was 2 steps up from the British Columbia Hockey League.
Yeah, it's an incredible league. I mean, you're dealing almost every night with probably an NHL first-round draft pick, or at least a second-round draft pick, which those guys are going to be quality NHL players at some point, and this is where they're at before that stage. And so you're right, you just can see the difference in size, speed, skill, team play, you know, from a coaching standpoint, the strategy that goes involved, that if you don't have your players ready to go, from a tactical standpoint, it can be a long night. I mean, you're coaching against the Mike Johnsons of the world in Portland that have worked in the NHL. You know,
you get found out real quick if you don't belong.
Yeah, you have to be prepared.
Yeah.
From a staff to players to everybody, that it was a lot of fun, I got to tell you.
Making the transition probably was somewhat easier, knowing that you had a front office group, Bliss and Lee and all of these people who have been in hockey forever.
Yeah.
I mean, this wasn't a bunch of green knobs and newbies. These people knew what they were doing. That probably helped making that transition.
That, you know, when you're led by Bliss Littler, he's done it all. He's seen it all, and this was obviously a new challenge for him as well, but just to see how prepared he was for everything. Again, people don't take for granted starting a team in June is next to impossible, and for him to lead that group, the entire group, not just the hockey side, but the front office side, having to explain to the Valley a whole new style of hockey. This is now, you know, the third league we've been in. To try to get all that accomplished in basically 2 months, get a whole new group of players to move from Winnipeg to Wenatchee, all the, you know, the draft picks, the import draft, to do all of that in basically 2 months is, I can't say enough about. I mean, it's next to impossible, and for Bliss and the entire staff to do that is hats off to them, because that was
after
incredible.
Bliss and Gretchen's kid Cade left the organization to continue on his hockey career. I asked Bliss, was there any thought about maybe, and all these changes were going on, is there any thought about, because Wenatchee loves you, any thought about maybe going elsewhere? And he looked at me and he goes, Gretchen looked at me and she said, we're not moving anywhere, honey. They're staying home. That was like, yeah.
Yeah, okay. It's again, so many people on this staff have fallen in love with this Valley, and we're extremely proud that you know, the Western Hockey League is here, and it was such a great first year.
Record attendance too. Record attendance.
Again, Gretchen, David Rayfield, Maddie, Hallie, Austin, Jesse, all those people in the front office. Can't say enough about them either. Like They did an unbelievable job.
Austin, if you're watching, he mentioned you 4th. Just wanted to let you know about that.
You're number 1 in my heart, Austin, okay?
You guys went through your very first WHL draft back on Thursday the 9th. This is something new for you guys. Talk about the process of deciding who you're going to pick if they're available. That whole draft process from a WHL standpoint, because this is now you're drafting real talent.
Yeah.
Talk about the whole draft process.
So Bliss and Lee have spent, and along with 5 other regional scouts throughout British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, they've been out all year while we've been playing. They've been out in different events watching this particular age group and putting lists together and having meetings. And then when you get about a week to 2 weeks before the draft, you start to compile a list of your top, however many it was, let's say 250. I don't know the exact number, but and they've been writing reports on these kids since back in September. And so then you get that list together, and then you kind of have an understanding. And I got to give these guys credit. I was lucky. One benefit from losing early was that I got to go to a couple events late, one in Alberta and one in BC. And to see the work that our scouts had done was incredible. You rate your kids and where you see them, and then they give me the packet as we're watching the kids, and I can see how they have all these kids rated, and they were dead on all these kids. And
do you draft into what we call the wild way? This is the way we go about doing our business exclusively, or do you, if this player lands in our lap, we're taking him and then we're going to teach him the wild way? Which of those two is probably more prevalent?
No, I think every organization has a specific type of player they want to draft, whether it be size, skill, position need. For us, we needed a lot because of Winnipeg going for it the last few years. They didn't have a ton of draft picks, so our cupboard was pretty bare, let's be honest, and so we needed everything. But they definitely zeroed in on types of players that we feel will make us a championship caliber team when these kids are ready to get here.
Will you see some of these kids in September, October, or is it just a little ahead of schedule?
They're definitely on the early end of they can't play for us next year, but they will be here for training camp, so you will get your first view on them. But we're hoping a whole bunch of them will be ready the following year. But again, just going back to the job that those guys did, that as the draft was going on, how they had players ranked was actually pretty remarkable. That it was like, well, okay, you guys, obviously there's always going to be players that go up earlier or a little bit later, but for the most part, they were dead on where kids kind of fit in. And we were ecstatic to get Boston Tate with our first pick. He was a kid that we had rated extremely high that we never thought we'd have a chance at 12. And when we were lucky enough to get him, there was a happy scouting staff that.
Well, I'm assuming the Whites are ecstatic because Lee Meadows and your provincial scouts, they all got extensions and raises. That means they're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, again, I can't give those guys enough credit that they did a fantastic job. Just again, being able to be at 2 events and watching how they have the kids ranked, and then getting to watch them myself. Not that I know anything, but it's pretty obvious when they have them all listed in order for you, and you're like, well, that's exactly how I would have listed them. It was pretty awesome that they do an extremely good job, and they work well together. It's 6 opinions to get to a final list. That's hard to do. I mean, you want people that have opinions. You don't want a bunch of people to just say yes, 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 or agree with everything. And those guys did an unbelievable job, and I can't wait for the Valley to get to see the work that they put in here in a few years when those kids are here, because we're extremely excited about the group we got.
We would be remiss if we didn't mention the rest of the WHL season. Moose Jaw won the Ed Chenoweth Cup. That is the championship of the Western Hockey League. They swept Portland 4 games to nothing. No surprise there. You want to address Moose Jaw taking the big prize?
I don't want to say no surprise, because I think, as we all know here, Portland was a heck of a hockey club. I think they got hit with the injury bug a little bit late, like we were talking about off air. And that could be the ultimate equalizer sometimes, that all 4 of those games, yes, it was a 4-0 sweep, but they were all 1-goal games, I believe, and I think in 3 of them they were either won in overtime or in the last 5 minutes of the 3rd period. So we could be easily sitting here talking about Portland going to the Memorial Cup, but we played Moose Jaw 1 time this year, late in the year, and you could see that they were going to be a problem in the league. They had I want to say it's four first-round picks in the NHL. So I think they're going to represent our league well at the Memorial Cup. Hopefully this is the year that the Western Hockey League gets back the Memorial Cup, but they're a heck of a hockey team, but so is Portland.
So is Portland, and we played Portland pretty good this year.
Yeah,
I mean, that's if there's anything as a moral victory. I remember I went to the Portland game towards the end of the year. We played straight up with these guys right through 3 periods.
Yeah.
They beat us, but they didn't beat us.
100%. Yeah, they were a good club. That was it was kind of interesting throughout the year. They actually battled injuries all year long. They lost their goalie for about 2 months. They got him back. Then in the playoffs, it's hard. You know, you could be playing 7 games in 10 days. So a lot of times it's a team that can, you know, withstand the injury bug and stay away from that. And it kind of just felt like all year with Portland, they were an amazing hockey team that just never got over the injury bug. They'd get this player back, and then they lose this player. Then they get that player back, and they lose this player. And but you got to give them a ton of credit for them to get to the finals. And really, we could be, like I said, sitting here talking about Portland being the champions of the Western Hockey League, if not for a couple of bounces and a couple of injuries.
That's hockey, my friend. Yeah. We would be. Chris wears a lot of hats, and he has a lot of responsibilities. But perhaps the biggest one of all of them is you're in charge of getting beds for players. This is your MOVIAC, your department, billet families. It's always an issue every year. This year may be a little more acute because it's not just the Wenatchee Wild, the varsity, if you will. It's the junior clubs. Talk about billet families and talk about the need for that. This is big.
Yeah, it's huge. It's everything. You can't have junior hockey without billet families. I am excited. We do have Hunter McLeod, who is now the billet coordinator, but it's a full team effort. Myself, Troy Mick, Hunter, Bliss, everybody in the organization understands the importance of it. We all work hand in hand together with it. But it is, you know, we're a little bit unique that we have the 2 academy teams, as you mentioned as well. So most junior hockey teams are looking for 25 beds for the junior hockey team. We're looking for 65. Because we do have the 2 academy teams as well, and we want to give those kids the best environment to play in as well. And so when you're looking for 65 beds, and we've been extremely fortunate that we've had some billet families for 16 years. They've been doing it since year 1. And
why? Why do they keep doing it year after year?
Because they love it. Because it's an experience. You're going to add a family member for life. That's the biggest thing I can tell people when you do billeting. It's because you are going to add a family member for life. There are their perks, and yes, you get paid and all those sort of things to house these players. But you're doing this to give this kid an opportunity to fulfill hopefully his hockey goal, his schooling goals, and you're going to make a family member for life. I tell the same story every year, but there are people that I live with when I was 18 years old. I'm not going to age myself here, but that was a long time ago, as you can see. And I'm still in contact with them. We play in Victoria. I reached out to them when we went to Victoria this year that it's the truest statement that there is no junior hockey, there is no Wenatchee Wild without great billet families. And we've just, you know, now that we've been here 16, 17 years, in 10 years, a lot can change for these families. So we do have turnover every year, and we're so grateful for the families we do have, but we're always looking for more, and it's definitely a need, just like it is every summer this year.
Well, I'll tell you a story. About a year ago, I was at Fred Meyer. Damn it, I told Fred Meyer I wouldn't mention their name. Too late. I was at Fred Meyer, and I was talking to one of the billet families who I've known for years. What are you doing this weekend? And they said, we're flying to Minneapolis. I said, what are you going to Minneapolis? It says, our billet kid that we had 7 years ago is getting married, so we're going to his wedding. I thought, now that's cool.
It's unbelievable.
That's cool.
I get that call. I get at least one of those calls a summer where, you know, whether you're just checking in or you get a FaceTime and it's a player that used to play here, and you're exactly right. They're at a wedding, they're at a graduation, they're at the birth of a child.
Well, not in the room. I mean,
no, they're celebrating.
I mean, there are billet families, and then there are billet families. That's a little much.
But yeah, I mean, those are honestly the stories that mean the most.
So if we planted this seed, and I hope we did, first of all, what does that entail? If you're out there watching, you say, I think I might be interested in hosting a Wild player or 2, if I got an extra bedroom or 2, and a full refrigerator. What does being a billet family and hosting a Wild player entail from the family's perspective?
So you need to have obviously an open room for that player to live in. it's the biggest misconception is that you can't leave all winter. And that is absolutely not true. We have a lot of temporary families that can't do it full time, but they're around in case a billet family, you know what? My daughter's got a hockey tournament in Seattle this weekend. We're not going to be here. You call us, we move your player. But the biggest thing is to have an open room and just honestly a spot in your heart to help these kids fulfill their dreams. And I can't reiterate enough, you are going to make a new family member for life.
That's the biggest perk, but there are other little perks.
Yeah, you get a monthly stipend. Everybody gets a monthly stipend. There's ticket benefits that come with it as well for the Wild games. We have billet barbecues. We have billet appreciation nights. We have a lot. We try to get all the families together a few times a year to celebrate them and just to check in with them. But the biggest reason you're doing it is you're going to help one of these athletes fulfill help fulfill their hockey dream. And so an open room, hopefully a good family meal at night. You're not required to make 3 meals a day by any means.
No, and they're not around a lot. I mean, they're going to, yes, they're hockey, but there's hockey practice, there's hockey camp, there's school.
100%.
They're not like just always at your house.
No, they're on a very, very strict schedule, whether you have a development player or a Wild player. Like you said, they're either at school, they're at practice, they're at the gym. We do a lot in the community where they're at public events, not to mention at least, it pretty much equals out to at least 2 weekends a month. We're on the road, so we are gone a fair amount, and we do keep them very busy throughout the day. We're preparing them for real life. After, you know, whether they're NHL players or whatever they're doing next, they're going to have a schedule, and so they're pretty much busy by 8 a.m. and we try to keep them busy till about 5
These guys are really good about matching the right player to the right family. It's not like, here you go. They don't pull them out of a hat. You do your homework, and this person this player would be a good fit for this family for reasons A, B, C, D. They know what you're doing.
Yeah, 100%. Well, there's a questionnaire that the players fill out: likes, dislikes, foods you like, allergies. Do you prefer a home with kids? Do you prefer a home without kids? Are you allergic to animals? They answer all those questions, and we have the billet family fill out the exact same questionnaire. And it's not a perfect formula, but we've been pretty good and pretty fortunate that we do a good job matching them up. And again, Hunter does an incredible job for us doing that and matching up the player with the family so that we're putting like-minded people together. And again, it's there is no Wenatchee Wild without them. So, and
you become a hockey fan too.
Yeah, you will.
You become a hockey fan real quickly.
If you don't already love hockey, I'm sure you will. And you know what? It's great for a variety of different. You know, whether you're an empty nester or you have little kids yourself growing up, that they have a role model in the house to look up to, because these kids are all very passionate about their craft, and they're going to be good role models. They're going to show you or show your kid, you know, what it takes to get to that level. And those, again, I look now, even in Waha, some of the people that became billets, and maybe their kid didn't even play hockey initially, but now their kids are growing up and they're coming through the program as members of Waha or whatever sport they play, baseball, basketball. It doesn't just have to be specific to hockey, that you're going to have that role model in the house to hopefully help them. Or like I said, if you're an empty nester and maybe your kids are away now and you got that extra bedroom in your house, that you're going to gain a family member for life. That's the one thing I want to
email Clarkie, call the Wild, 888-PUCK. They'll get you going and get that process started, because they're going to be in the big city here before you know it. Last question before I cut you loose. Stanley Cup playoffs, who do you like?
Oh, the Final Four, it could be anybody, but my gut tells me it's going to be Florida or Dallas.
Why Florida? I mean, they're good, but I'd much rather see the Rangers or even a Canadian team every once in a while.
Yeah, you know, I just think that those are the two most complete teams that Florida can beat in a variety of ways.
And I like Dallas. They're good.
And Dallas, I mean, their head coach has been in the conference finals 5 of the last 6 years, so I think he's finally due to win one.
Chris Clark, everybody, affectionately known to everybody as Clarkie. It's good to see you. We get the Wenatchee Wild schedule mid-July, roughly?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
We're waiting now we have to wait for the NHL to announce their schedule.
That's true.
Because there's some teams that share buildings with NHL teams.
That's true. Edmonton and Calgary, we're looking at you. It's good to see you, my friend.
Great to see you.
You watch Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
A ductless unit from Carrier can keep anyone comfortable. Take Shelley, for instance. she finds me time in her new attic-turned-home gym. And with her Carrier ductless unit, the temperature is always perfect. No matter how intense her workout gets. Carrier, total comfort, totally happy.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Alpine Air. Heat and air, call Alpine Air.
The Lake Chelan Chamber of Commerce presents The Magic of Manson.
Spring is here at the Chelan Ridge Winery. Check out the all-new deck area, enjoy an amazing view, new vintage wines, and that down-home hospitality Chelan Ridge is famous for.
Wine Girl Wines is already famous for wine, beer, and great entertainment. And now they have added craft cocktails to the list of food and drink. So pop on by our Manson location for some good old-fashioned fun.
Most of us are in touch with the internet in one way or another all day long. A fast, secure connection matters. It keeps us entertained, informed, and in touch. Locatel cares about your connection. We know strong, reliable internet with your choice of speed makes life better. If you need fast, reliable internet, or maybe an upgrade, or you just have questions, connect with us by visiting Locatel.com or call 509-888-8888 today.
Hey man, how's your arm?
Getting better, actually, thanks.
Did they give you anything for pain after surgery? Because I think I may have some left over.
Nah, that's all right, man. Actually, me and my doctor talked about not sharing prescriptions, and that ibuprofen's a good option for me. The risk of addiction, it's not worth it.
Makes sense.
Take the next step. Don't share your prescriptions and talk to your friends about the dangers of opioids.
Pause for Pets is presented by Alpine Air Heating and Cooling, Mary Maid's Doghouse Brewery, Leavenworth, and Club Crow Bar and Grill. Hi, I'm Julie. Pause for Pets is presented by Alpine Air Heating and Cooling, Mary Maid's Doghouse Brewery, Leavenworth, and Club Crow Bar and Grill.
Hi, I'm Julie, and I'm the Animal Care Coordinator here at the Humane Society. This is Bel Air. She's about 5 years old. She's a Husky mix, and she's been doing really well with the dogs so far up at Playgroup. She's kind of our dream dog. She has the beautiful heterochromia eyes, one blue, one brown. She came to us as an owner surrender, so she's been available for adoption, and she'd be the perfect hiking buddy. We took her on a walk the other day on the loop trail, and she met a couple of nice dog friends, and she got to hang out and play in the water. She loved that. So we know that from her owner surrender form, she's not good with chickens or cats or small animals. But we do know that she's good with kids and other dogs, so she would be a perfect family dog because she is more on the calm side of things for Huskies. So she does know some commands, like she knows sit, and she knows spin. We are working on lay down, and she's very treat motivated as well, so she would do great with somebody who wants to continue her training. So she's not really interested in toys. She's more interested in people and getting her belly rubs. They're kind of her favorite thing, as you can see. So she's been here for a few months now. It is a little bit harder to find a home for bigger dogs, but she's wonderful. She has great kennel presence as well, just very calm. So if Bel Air seems like the perfect dog for you, please come down to the Humane Society. We are open 7 days a week from 12:30 to 6 o'clock. And on Wednesdays, we're also open for appointment, and you can make an appointment online.
Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org.
57 degrees here in the big city. That's what it was an hour ago when this show started. There's a rather robust cold front that's parked just off the coast of our state. As this day progresses, it's going to move right into our area by mid to late afternoon. It's going to be very cloudy, even cloudier than it is now, and quite windy. From the National Weather Service, here you go. 72 our high today. Again, sun's taking the day off as the day progresses. The wind will be picking up in intensity this morning, about 5 to 15 miles an hour. Gusts over 20 by late afternoon, and the wind will be quite windy tonight as well, if that even makes sense. 45 for the overnight low. A lot of sunshine tomorrow, but very windy. We're talking a good solid 20-mile-an-hour west wind on Wednesday afternoon, gusts close to 30 tomorrow, and it's going to only get up to 64. That's 10 degrees below normal. The winds will eventually be dying down Wednesday night. By Thursday, we'll be done with the wind. Lots of sunshine, 69, and not a bad weekend coming up. And that is it for us. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Salute to veterans.
How this humble farm is rooted in helping American heroes while harvesting the best tasting food on the planet.
Plus, we salute Flags of Valor.
This veteran-owned and operated company also helps our country's heroes.
Then join us as we meet a courageous Marine whose leadership in war set him on a path of hope for thousands back home.
This special salute to veterans is made possible by Bad Boy Mowers.